Love you in the evening too. Said I'm just a stranger. Hey, crofam, what's up? Happy Tuesday. Here we go. You don't want to hear me singing this. Shoot. Tweet out the room. Let's get it going. Proud of you all. Proud of you fuckers. Let's do it. Now I may not be familiar with your language, but I sure would like to cross over your bridge. So I may not dress in style like the man in your town do, but I sure know how to say I love you. I wanna love you in the morning, love you in the evening too. Even when you're lonely, I make you happy when you're feeling blue. I'm just a stranger in your town. Once in a while I pop around. Ozzy, you coming up today? What's up? I may not be familiar with your language, oh no, but I sure am gonna cross over your bridge. Though I may not dress in style as the man in your town do, but I sure know how to say I love you. I wanna love you in the morning. Love you. Yo, I'm way out of tune. I feel so bad for you guys. Oh, I'll make you happy when you're feeling blue. I'm just a stranger in your town. What's up, Ozzy?
What up, Alpha?
Where's my thunder from down under?
Right here, brother. What's going on?
I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever, man.
It does feel like a minute, hey.
But Joe, look at everybody coming back like they never left. Like they've been yelling crow from the rooftops every day, man. I see y'all. I know. We all came together yesterday. Right now,
Bro,
under crow. It was great.
bro, yeah. I mean, I'm in that Singapore time zone, so I was glued to that live stream with Chris. And yeah, no.
Oh, he's captivating.
No, like seriously, I thought I was going to tune out after a few minutes after he hit the major points, but I watched it through. But yeah, no, it's we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of the Lions, like the Crow heyday, like this is what it's all about.
It's all happening, baby. How you feeling, Kat?
Morning. Look, all I got to say, B&B
I'm outnumbered
down.
out here. Uh-oh.
B&B down almost 2%. Crow up almost 4.5%. Do I need to say anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think that's all we needed to know today. There's a lot of people deleting tweets. You know what I'm saying? You can't even, why do people even delete tweets? That's what I want to know. I'm really interested in that this morning. I mean, it makes no sense, right? Because there's bots that literally all they do is record what tweets are getting deleted. Let alone the fact that everybody is screenshotting your shit when it's spicy. So even if you delete it immediately, somebody has it.
You've got to imagine their thought process is, okay, it's been snapshotted by bots and people which might be able to spread it to, 5% of my followers, but if I remove my timeline, the other 90% don't see it. So It's probably just a visibility thing. But you're right. Like the people who are paying attention will notice.
Oh, and people are paying attention these days, Ozzy. Like, I don't know if you've been paying attention to our friend, or he used to be our friend, Sam, Sam,
Oh,
Sam
SBF.
Bankman-Fried. They're
Oh my
they're
man.
literally
He
writing
he
about it.
finished his Twitter thread. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the
technically,
what
but it's
H
still
kind
going.
of. Yeah. So for those who don't know, it ended up spelling out what happened, and then he did some weird, like, not financial advice disclaimer thing, like he was preparing a
That was the weird
insanity,
part. That made no sense.
insanity
That one.
defense for the court trial. He's like trying to paint
But you
himself
know why
as
he's doing it, right? They figured it
mm,
out like 6 tweets in. So it's for this very thing that we're talking about. So the bots that pick up deleted tweets, they actually use the Twitter API, and they're scanning for the amount of tweets on your timeline. And if it decreases by 1, then they take action. If he makes 1 tweet and then deletes 1 tweet within a 60-second time span, the bots don't pick up the deleted tweet. I hear minds
so.
blowing all
No,
over,
okay, so
like
so what
fuse
you
boxes, like
so
fireworks. Just like pop,
so
pop,
what
pop,
you
pop, pop, pop.
so what you're saying is these Twitter bots are doing a scrape of the Twitter API data every 60 seconds or so. So anything that happens
Yes,
within that
sir. Did you not
55
know this?
seconds. Well, I mean, I honestly couldn't care less about what bots are capturing or retweeting.
No, I mean
I'm more
about what he was doing the
no,
short
like
tweets
and,
for.
and and that a little bit too as well. Like he's a significant figure in the crypto market, yes, but I don't want to give him any more of a platform or any more clout than he already has because it's already undeserving. So, I haven't paid that much attention, to be honest.
Good for
Good
you.
morning.
Good morning, Natalie. How
Good
are we?
morning.
I'm good. I was gone for 4 days. Did I miss anything?
That was.
You picked that right.
I mean, the first 2 days I was going, "Where is Natalie?" And then the past 2 days, I got to tell you, man, we didn't even notice. God damn, it's been crazy.
No,
It's been crazy.
I'm just joking. I'd have to be under a rock not to notice what was going on. It's
I
all
mean,
over.
we never stopped talking about you though, Nat, because it's a Coffee and Cro meme at this point. Sorry, Nat is just part of everyone's vernacular.
Yeah, I was listening back. You're like, Natalie's never coming back.
Oh, because
No.
they get out of pocket, and I'm like, well, that's why she's not here.
Oh, I appreciate that. But sometimes, one time, maybe it was right after I left, but somebody was like putting F-bombs, like 20 of them in one sentence. And when I first come back, after I've been gone for a long time, I'll tell you, it takes
It's
some getting
jarring.
used to.
Yeah.
Cause like no, in my real life, nobody talks like that around me, right?
I feel for you, Nat. Like, given your sensitivity to profanities, navigating Twitter must be a minefield.
Oh man, it's rough, but
And we conduct business on Twitter. Like, people are making deals with lots of F-bombs. Lots
yeah,
of F-bombs in them.
yeah, I noticed, yeah.
That's just these are the growing pains of Web3. That's all we've been going through.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean,
so dude's in jail, right?
no, not even.
SBF, he's not in jail?
Not from what I can tell.
I thought he was in jail in the Bahamas.
No, I mean,
Sounds good, jail.
yeah, it'd be a good one. There's some like tower, or maybe that's the name of the place that he is at. I don't know, but he's
Under
not like
custody?
locked up. Yeah,
Really?
really.
Well, he should be in jail.
And it sounds like a lot of the people that work there were able to leave the Bahamas.
I was wondering how he was tweeting from jail.
Yeah, he's not in jail. And I'm surprised. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm way too deep in all this stuff. Yeah, that is knowledge now. I guess not common knowledge, but the whole reason that he was doing the cryptic weird tweet thing was to try and hide the fact that he was deleting all this old stuff. But I really don't think any of it is helpful or kind of like Ozzy was saying, important. Like, let's just forget about this guy.
Oh, so you
Yeah,
say he was deleting
like
some other
like
tweets while he was adding some new ones?
Yeah.
yeah, he's removing the incriminating ones. I'm not saying we forget about him. I'm just saying we don't give him more attention because this has happened. We've seen, Terra, Luna, Celsius, Voyager, and FTX, and lessons learned. Yes, not your
That's
keys,
the
not your
short
wallet.
list. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's the short list. So not forgetting, definitely lessons learned. Like, even big ones like FTX can go down, but also not giving him any more attention. Like if he tweets out like, "Here's a new thread starting off with the letter X," I'm not looking at that. I'm not giving that any attention. I'm not gonna.
What do you think about all the influencers that promoted FTX and now they're deleting their tweets like they're little mini Sams?
It's a tricky thing, right? Because like I can't really give anyone a hard time for being very openly bullish on something or proud of their investments, and then that going awry. So like I can't really like the deleting thing. I guess speaks more to them and being embarrassed about being wrong. Like I embrace the failures. Like the first to talk about all the shitty projects that I've minted or coins that I bought at the top and that sort of thing. But hey, if that's what they want to do, if they want to try and keep this squeaky clean profile, then whatever.
I don't know, man. I try to put myself in their position, and I'm like, well, all I can compare it to is Cro, because it's all I've been talking about for the past year. Besides the baseline of own your keys, own your crypto, don't let CDC be your daddy, like that underlies everything that we talked about in here. But like, if I was to put myself in their shoes with Cro, nobody used my fucking referral code, so I don't have
You've never had any $25
tie.
bonuses? Amazing.
Yeah, like they made
I've had two
$thousands off affiliate links,
And to your credit, Alpha, literally a year ago, you were saying, "Don't let CDC be your daddy, and not your keys, not your crypto." Like, to your credit, a year ago, maybe even more, you were saying both those things.
I just didn't know what I was talking about a year ago. Now I know what I'm talking about, and I'm dangerous, baby.
Yeah, people had listened to that. It was really important. Why would people have that much money on FTX anyway?
Because exchanges are set up to incentivize maximum liquidity. They have these earn functions, these supercharger events, these rewards, these missions and these trade. All of this is designed to keep maximum liquidity.
I feel bad. I feel bad pushing back against the people that are really promoting Cro right now and saying, "I just bought 100,000 and I'm staking it all in the earn function," and I'm like, so close.
Okay.
So close.
Did FTX didn't have a credit card, did they?
I think they did.
Oh.
I think they did a lot of the same things as us. They even had an NFT thing.
Did they give you 12% or something like that?
No idea.
Hey, did y'all notice the check marks are white and now they're blue?
Yes. Yeah, I love how they're blue in dark mode now. But speaking of which, did you pick up on what Chris said about the card rewards in that live stream?
I did.
I thought that was really well answered, right? Because when they took away the rewards, I was like, I was expecting this, and everyone else was really upset. And they kind of backpedaled on it a little bit. And then when the question was posed to him again yesterday, I was thinking, like, there's no way he can answer this well. He answered it perfectly, to be honest. Like, he didn't answer all the questions perfectly, but that one, like, yeah, well done.
I was excited that he kind of hinted that as business picked up, some rewards might improve. That was good.
And business looks like it's picking up.
Yeah, for those who missed it, he basically said it's in response to market conditions and trading volume, and so they would love to bring back rewards if they can, which makes sense, right? Like we don't want an exchange that is paying out like ridiculous rewards or whatever when they can't back it. It's not sustainable. So it was the perfect answer. That was probably the best answer he gave to all the questions, I thought. But you mentioned yesterday in your show, Alpha, that he spoke a lot about the DeFi app, which I think was good. I was shocked to find out that 70 million users on the Crypto.com main app and only 5 million users of the CDC DeFi app.
And just to be specific about both of those numbers, those are download numbers. So
Yeah,
5
not
million
daily
downloads.
active users. Yeah,
yeah.
And when I heard those figures, I hoped that at least half of those 70 million are using another DeFi app, Trust Wallet, MetaMask, whatever. But you never know. I do think the majority of retail holders don't trade on DeFi.
They don't, and they hold Shiba, and they don't hold Cro, and they don't know the difference between DeFi and centralized exchanges. But I'll be here until my voice runs out. Honestly, I feel like my kids are starting to get it. If I die, they'll tell the story. They'll be like, my dad was on to something. Get your coins off the exchanges.
They're gonna go in the basement and see your roadmap and everybody's names
I got it all
and the whole
history.
Yeah, I just saw a leaked trailer for Netflix doco coming out in 2030. It's called Alpha Chimporo: The Untold Story. It's going to be quite the thriller.
I thought it was going to be called SBF.
That one's coming out this week now.
It's not called the Thunder from Under?
That we're working on that one. Working title. Ken, what's up?
Hey, I don't know who said it, but why wouldn't you stake 100,000 Cro on the Crypto.com actual app and not in the DeFi? In the DeFi, you'd be just trusting like a validator or maybe like a protocol like Argo. That seems, I don't know, kind of risky in these times. I think it'd be safer to get like 4% less and just put it in the earn. I don't know.
This is a great question, and I think it could set us up for a very interesting debate in here because we've got a lot of crofam showing up in the past 2 days. Maybe they were taking a break. Maybe they love the spice like we all do, but like there's a lot of people showing up and everybody's got a different opinion. And like I said before, the vast majority of the customer base from the centralized side does not know about DeFi. And we learned this back in the day with the Lions. Ozzy was here. I gave Ozzy his first DeFi NFT.
He sure did. Like, in fact, as we come up to the 1 year anniversary of the Lions, I really will upload that recording of the space of the Lions mint night. And it was about a week or two later that Alpha here gave me a Kronos chimp. It was a jelly skin Kronos chimp, and I didn't even know how to find it. He was introducing me to that world. So yeah, no, that's 100% true. If I was to try and quickly answer that question from my perspective, so they're two different risks, right? So if you put, let's just use round numbers. So if you put $100 on the earn function, yes, you will get certain returns, but the risk there is if there is a run or if they become insolvent or if the reserves aren't backed, then it turns to zero. So you're trusting the centralized exchange and whatever regulations they're following. If you have it just in DeFi, not staked, then obviously that's as safe as it gets. But if you want to stake it on DeFi, then yes, you're then trusting a faceless organization or a DAO or a DEX and their staking protocol. So if you're doing it on that side, you really want to have your tokenomics in order and understand what they're operating on. But they're two different kinds of risks, really.
And to me, I really focus on the first one. It's like you either own your keys or you don't. And a year ago, I didn't have the same mindset as I do now. But at this point in time, especially with the events in crypto of the past, well, let's say summer, but especially 2 weeks, you got to own your keys. You got to own your crypto. It's like,
Well,
I didn't have to be here for people to learn that. Like, that's just the message of this whole year.
And it's not even a crypto thing, right? Like, so we can equate it to traditional finance, TradFi. It's the cash under the mattress, right? Like, we heard what happened in Greece or any other country that's suffered a run on banks, where literally you'd have 10K in the bank and you can't go withdraw $10 at an ATM. So, like, that's what you're looking at there. Is like, because essentially, if you have coins, tokens, whatever, on the crypto.com app or exchange, that's an IOU. Just like your bank balance, right? It's an IOU from the bank. You don't actually hold it. But if you have cash under the mattress, gold bars, or coins in your DeFi wallet, then you hold it. No one can take that away from you.
I got to be honest, I feel like all the parallels that we draw between traditional finance, banking, and Web3 is kind of dangerous because they're not the same at all. It's apples and oranges, and the more we tie them together, the more we have centralized exchanges pretending to be banks, right? Like Celsius and FTX. And the truth of the matter is, like, we shouldn't have to be preaching this because the essence of crypto is DeFi. It is owning your coins because, like, that's how we decentralize everything. Everybody holds their own shit. And we hold a ledger that shows what everybody else is holding. And now we have completely transparent, trustless, peer-to-peer currencies.
so I
And we
just wanted
forget
to
about that.
make to raise the issue, right? For Bitcoin, okay, you can hold that on a ledger or something. So if you hold that in crypto.com, it's not your best route. For ETH, you can put that on MetaMask or on any of these cold wallet storages, right? But for Crow, if there's a run on the bank and Crow is going to crash and you can't get your crypto, Crow is going to go down so much that losing it is not, like
I
losing
hear,
Crow at five
yeah,
cents is not, you're not losing a whole lot of money.
I hear what you're saying there. So I think the focus really is on like the bigger caps, so like Bitcoin and ETH, which they might not be able to pay out. Like I think even if there is a run, on crypto.com, like you'll still be able to get your CRO out.
Bro,
It's
we
like
just had
the
a run.
Bitcoin and it's the Bitcoin and ETH reserves that are mainly the concern. And you're right, like
And
whether
did you
your
hear
CRO
about
is in DeFi or on
FTX's
your
Bitcoin
exchange,
reserves? They were
it's
zero. They were
okay.
zero and nobody
So
knew.
so let me throw out something a bit crazy. Like you're right. Like the utility tokens for exchanges, have suffered hits, Solana and BNB and Cro. But have you looked at the DeFi solution tokens like SafePower and like Trust Wallets tokens? Like they've been pumping, and I think that raises a larger question, which is like who has interest in those tokens going up?
CZ.
Hey, don't forget to
See,
add.
Exactly.
Hey, don't forget to add
CZ.
Voyager to the list.
Oh, thank you, Daddy G.
The
We really,
bankrupt ones or what?
yeah. Do you want me to start writing them on the wall? I'm running out of space.
And real quick for reference, you can hold over 1,800 assets on any of the ledger devices. So your Bitcoin, your ETH, your Sol, your Atom, your what you might call it can most definitely probably be stored on a cold storage hard wallet. I'm sure Crow's included in that. But like you said, if Crow goes down and withdrawals aren't possible, if you're holding Crow on a hard wallet, you might as well be holding it on the exchange.
I mean,
Yeah, that
that's
was
an
my point.
interesting hypothetical for us to be getting into. What I wanted to discuss was this this dichotomy that Ken brought up here. Like, do you stake on the centralized exchange or do you stake it in DeFi? Because, like Ozzy said, both times
Well,
you're giving up
here's the
custody.
thing. There's so many different types of staking in DeFi. You can be staking directly through a blockchain protocol, which is more decentralized than anything you'll probably find, depending on what blockchain you're working with. But yeah, if you're staking through something like LootPad, we've seen how that could go.
the short answer is who do you trust more, Crypto.com or Loopad? That's the short answer.
Oh Jesus, that doesn't count.
I
Run it
mean, it
back.
is
Run
though.
it back. Run it back.
For conversation
That's a
purposes,
false
that's a great
equivalency.
analogy. It really fucking is.
Yeah, but you had to
Mark
use
my
loop
friend.
pad, bro. Come on.
Well, yeah, whoever. All right. So, okay.
I mean, we're talking about Voyager. We're talking
Boil it
about
down this way.
FTX. Let's talk about
Boil it
this
down this
guy.
way. Do you trust the exchange or
I
do
don't
you
put
trust the
Grayson
DEX?
on the same level
All
as
right.
Sam
You're
Bankman-Fried. No.
Yeah, Alpha. You're right. You're right to correct me. I shouldn't use names. Do you trust the exchange or do you trust the DEX? That's the question.
I trust the code, so I trust the DEX.
Sweet. Then that's where you stake.
Anybody else? Miko?
Well, I'm staking on the app. I'm staking on the DeFi wallet, and I'm staking on Argo. I kind of split it up, and I think I'm averaging like an 8% stake. And when this all went down, the bank run kind of started on crypto.com. I thought to myself, well, if Cro goes down, exactly like it's over. So I tried to put like, I think I bought a couple more bags and put it into the crypto earn just to like try and help the exchange like stay floating. And I don't know, somebody else mentioned that, what is it, Trust Wallet? CZ Binance on his AMA started talking about Trust Wallet, and then it just went through the roof. And he also made this tweet the other day that's really interesting, like, hey,
That's
does
his
anybody
wallet.
want to huh?
Trust Wallet. He created Trust Wallet.
Yeah, exactly. So he like also put this tweet out the other day saying like, "Oh, anybody who's negatively affected from FTX, I got this fund set up to help you, and any other investors out there that are like looking to help, you're welcome." And it just felt like he was fishing for investors. And since
Hey,
they
Paul,
got
break
hacked
that.
for,
I gotta find that track.
Ken. To
I'm
be
gonna start
fair,
playing that.
like when the interviewer was putting Chris's feet to the coals, like he had the same answer. Hey, we've had our own DeFi app solution for 2 years now. Like he lent heavily on their own proprietary DeFi app, of course, which they must have some kind of interest in being the prevailing DeFi app of choice.
It's a great
Granted,
application.
it
I've been
is.
saying it this
I
whole
was just about
time.
to say, granted that it is a great integration with the main app because you can have it linked and you don't have to worry about addresses and it's really easy to move in and out of. So
Mars,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
he has
mean
lots of good
Well,
CDC
points.
they
DeFi?
got themselves into some hot water with their whitelisted addresses. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Let's-
okay, so for the real 10-4 hats out there, like people don't want a DeFi app linked with an exchange because that's a paper trail. Like the point of DeFi is to be anonymous, and you don't want it linked to some KYC'd account.
that's
So
when you go to
that's
your laptop and you create a new wallet on a new Google, what do you call it? How are we always teaching everybody to do it?
Browser, new
Yeah.
browser.
But like you have a different identity for each browser. What do they call it? Profile. No. Like my kids have one. Like that's how I have it set up on our computer. The kids have Google profiles. Each wallet is on each profile.
But still, Alpha, right? So you buy a bunch of Cro or Bitcoin or whatever on the app, and then you send it to MetaMask wallet number 1, and then you move it to this other profile one for your kids or whatever, which is MetaMask number 2. It's like a 2-step like tracing process. If anyone wanted to figure out who it was,
I'm not the guy. I'm not hiding anything. I know exactly how it works, bro. Like, whoever stole all that money off of FTX, like, the FBI and whoever else is trying to chase down these people, they've never had it so fucking easy, Ozzy. They're just watching the money. They're just watching where it goes.
This is what I've been saying for a while now, like the last few months. I think we'll see a string in maybe the next,
and
year
they're
to 3.
clowning the motherfucker while he's doing it. They're on the media saying this guy's an amateur.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of retrospective lawsuits in the next year to 3 years, where because the blockchain is so perfectly immutable and such a perfect ledger, they'll be able to charge people with crimes 2 or 3 years from now. Like I think the most interesting thing that we'll see in the future is the precedent that's set. Like whether it's like someone who took money from Gox or something like that. Like whatever punishment they get when they try and convert it to fiat and spend it in the real world, like that will set the tone for what this will look like for criminals who have operated on blockchain.
That's what Sam should have been lobbying for, some type of Web3 statute of limitations, and then just borrow Elon's rocket type in, however long it is, shoot yourself into space, come back when you're free. That's what I would have done. If I had fucking, what did he have? $25 billion last week? It's like, bro, you blew it. You blew it. Miko, what's up?
Well, look, this is straight tinfoil hat theory, but a lot of people know how the government back in the '80s had to do a big part in, the crack epidemic and drugs being moved from like Nicaragua and Argentina and being brought up, right? And it ended up being that like the CIA actually protected some people, and that created the narcos. That created a lot of like, what's this guy, the real Rick Ross? All of those people came into power because of what the government, in a way, allowed, right? And it's not say that it's everybody, every part of the government, but there's always bits and pieces that kind of work against what you think is the regular norm.
They're just people
to push their agenda. Yeah, there's just people.
Think that,
they're
like,
just people.
Yeah, people think police brutality has gone up like crazy in the past 10 years. Nah, we've just been filming it.
Like 100%. Now we got proof. Exactly. So my thing is that I feel like there were bad actors within the government. Let's not say the majority of the government, right? But we could definitely say Gary Gensler and like some of his cronies. And these people, they played 5D chess with a dude that used to beat people at 3D chess, right? So they propped him up. They basically somehow funded him.
They didn't know he was a pigeon, man. He just shit all over the chessboard, and they did not see it coming.
Yeah, I mean, all of this. He was the inside man pushing for quote unquote regulation when he was really like a triple agent. You get me? Like, he wasn't our friend, and he sure shit is not their friend either. But it doesn't seem like he's got any more of his friends left, right? So, SBF is going to be the sacrificial lamb. He's going to be the guy that they say, hey, he messed up, and they're going to stab him in the back. So the people that he was saying like, no, we got to regulate. These are my best friends. Gary and I are, we're peeps. It's going to come back and bite him in the ass, right? And they are going to push him, and he will be the guy that it's bigger than Madoff sort of thing, but he is going to be that guy that get put on the stand, and all fingers are going to be pointed at him.
It just feels so orchestrated.
Tinfoil hat off, okay?
All right.
Today is the easiest giveaway that you can imagine. We're back on the Tuesday giveaway. All you got to do is like and retweet the image above, and you have a chance to win one of the Tad Coins by Jesse Smith. We all know this Tad Coin is going to give you a motherfucking tattoo session, bro. So that's it. Just look at it, like it, retweet it. You got a chance to win it.
Man, I need a volume control on that air horn. Why don't they give you like a volume button over here? Whoa, not that one.
It's almost that Discord voice chat is better than Twitter Spaces, am I right?
Where the fuck have you been, bro?
Ooh, I'm glad you're back. Woohoo!
Hibernation, the Death Star.
Holy shit, were you up here this whole time?
I've been here for a few minutes, just chiming in and laying the final touches on some threads.
I'm such a dummy. I just push buttons. I didn't even know you were up here.
So good, man. Got a new avatar as well. This one's got a little less, I would say, violent eyes. And less intellectual property right violations.
He sounds good. Does he sound good?
Bro, his voice sounds sexy as hell.
Yo, Coffee and Cro, how we doing today?
We're doing amazing.
We're good. We're recovering.
Amazing. How do you sound like you're making love to the mic?
By spending too much money on a mic, I suppose, and using BlueStacks instead of my phone because Android and rugging. But that doesn't make BlueStacks any better.
We've been telling him the whole time you were gone. I swear to God.
Yeah, no homo, bro. But this guy will get kissed in the mouth if I ever see him.
Yeah, man. But to give a little TLDR of what I've been up to, I've been strategizing a little bit on how I'm going to move forward in the space. I've set myself up more as a coaching figure for moderators and an advocate for community managers. For the people that have been following my page, I am now slowly begin to post some informative threads on community management fundamentals and also the inner workings of digital communities in general, talking a little bit about these things. I've been doing some master classes and coaching sessions over at the Fat Cats DAO NFT Academy. And I've also been working with some clients and currently talking to more people where I can try and give them some community building, some Discord security auditing, and also give them some overall advice on communities. And obviously, I have been shitposting in the darkest spaces of Web3 in sight of these abominable businesses tanking down and taking the market with them. But week in one of the many, many spaces I frequent, innovation doesn't care about price action. We're gonna get there, folks. Just be patient.
God damn, it's good to have you back, bro. I gotta tell you, we've been doing our best around here, but I think we're on a whole nother level after this weekend. I feel a momentum build up that I did not expect. I mean, I expected crofam to pull through this. Check the tapes. But like to have this much momentum build up as a consequence, I did not see that coming. Nah, man, I'm seeing like random people on Twitter that didn't get any engagement before making one tweet about crypto.com and just blowing the fuck up. So strap in, y'all, and listen to Palpable, because like building communities in the bear market, you couldn't have a better ROI. And I hope that's what everybody is telling everybody, because if not, you're holding back valuable information. The best ROI you can get involved with is community building in the bear market. Put in your time and energy now.
Yeah, and it's also the bear market that's showing which projects emphasized on marketing and which projects emphasized on creating sustainable communities that can survive a bear market and still engage with one another and also connect with one another. Because at the end of the day, we all know that if a new project arises and they are building their community, and over the course of the seed community founding, their mint and the post mint period, if 80 to 90% of the communications between community members is only about price action, market volatility, and the floor price, that is not a sustainable community. That is a community of speculators. They're not there for the value, they're there for volatility.
Oh
Oh,
man, you gotta look into my project that I just started up. I think you'd love it.
that was
Sounds good,
smooth,
man. Let me give
G.
you a
That was
follow.
for him. That was pretty smooth, dude. I'm gonna give it to you. Anybody else would get booted right now. G, that was smooth, dude. That was smooth.
That was a great transition, wasn't it?
Right?
I'm
I forgot what I was gonna say now, but I think it was about community building. Believe it or not. No, imagine what investors think when they see that you can fucking build. No. Now I'm saying it wrong. That you can have like increased volume and increased listeners and increased your community size and reach during a bear market. Imagine what investors think when they look at that. Everything is collapsing around you. What are you doing? Growing, building, snowballing.
Yeah, man. It also speaks to the types of people that are building value, creating value, and building businesses in this space. When you try to explain to them why you should invest in your Discord community and even spend money on creating a meme division, there's no venture capitalist that'll take you seriously. But we all know that there is value in internet culture.
Oh my God, you said meme division? I was like, sign me up. And where is everybody? The value, I'm seeing dollar signs in a meme academy. I'm seeing dollar signs in, meme university. Jimstar, what's up, dude?
Yo, what's up, everybody? How are you, Alpha? Yeah, I like it the way you lost your train of thought and you came back to community building. Um, I just like to ask Palpable a question about community building because he's been saying this before he went missing in action and he's back now. Um, when a project set out um, to mint without a community, do they do they have a chance, or do you think they should use the money and the little money they have in marketing in building this community that they're going to sell to, or do you think they should just cast the net out and if you understand where I'm coming from, because what I'm trying to say is that I have a little project and the idea of the project was to build a community, and for the love of God, I cannot build a community. You would have people rather you pay them to chat in your Discord and
Jimmy,
not
you know
show
I
up.
love you, bro.
Yeah.
But you know I've been saying this also for the past year, is you got to build the community first. Now, I'm all for like trying new things and doing something innovative, and like I think what you were just talking about is interesting, and that's what you did, right? Or that's what you said the whole purpose
Yes,
was.
the whole purpose was to build a community to sell a project to.
Did I yell at you back then? I can't remember.
No, you did not. No,
Interesting.
I
You
don't think you're
slipped
going to
right
yell
through.
at me. I don't think you're going to yell at me now because it's too late now. But the
And
whole
I probably
idea,
thought, hey, he's got a community right here, you know?
I do, yeah. And that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say to Palpable. Like this emphasis of building a community when you can join a community. That's what I'm trying to say.
But you
And I
can't
want you
sell
to explain.
anything to a community you join, only ones that you build.
Exactly.
Well, it all starts on the individual level. We are all individuals in this space. We are tapped into Web3. We are part of its culture. And many of us, luckily here at Crow Family, we are part of the settlers of this space. We are not the speculators of this space. We're not here for cheap grabs and quick flips. We are here to create value for ourselves and for others. And if you can create value, you can create a community surrounding that value, but always begin by creating a community around yourself, because there is no harsher echo chamber than your own brain.
I love how he says it. And I hope everybody's hitting the fucking scissors and getting it out there. And I'm sorry, Nat, I'm gonna watch my voice. We're getting used to you being back here.
Thank you.
Yes, sorry, Alpha. I know the way he says it sounds nice, but I am
No,
fighting to understand because at the end of the day, let me calm down now, just easy.
Jim
I used
Star,
to do this
I got your
no,
multi-level
I'm
answer.
muting
marketing.
everybody because I'm gonna forget what I was gonna say. And what I'm gonna say is Palpable reminded me that I didn't know what I was doing when I got here. Remember? You guys can check the fucking tapes. Excuse me. But I handed out chimps like they were free and they were worth thousands of dollars. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I did because of exactly what Palpable just said, creating value. How do I create value? I'm not creating anything by sitting on 40 chimps because maybe it's worth $1 million, but only if I sell them. But if I send them to people and they hold them, now I'm creating value. I fucking got it back then, but I didn't know I got it. Gee, what's up?
No, I was just going to answer what Jim Star was kind of trying to ask and stuff. There's no perfect formula. I think it's all the right time, right place, whether it's a silent launch, whether you've been announcing it for a long time. It's all the right time, right place. And what our buddy was saying, Palpable, you have to be true and have something like real utility, something with a purpose, and be true to yourself, and people will see it, and the community will start to build and stuff.
Yeah, and I suppose, Jim, that you come from a more marketing background. Is that true?
I
Actually,
don't think so.
yeah, I did Facebook marketing back in the days. I did multi-level marketing. When you talk
Oh,
about
spicy.
Meleluca, Herbalife, I ran, but then again, I started feeling guilty. I felt dirty when you push marketing in a way, when you manipulate people
Can we
just to
dive
sell
into
to
that?
them. Yeah.
No, but that's
Because
okay. Like many great marketers today have come from a similar background and learned the fundamentals about market working from such practices. So,
right, because there's
we
nothing
and
fundamentally wrong with multi-level marketing. It's how people do it, right?
yeah, most definitely. And if you come from a more marketing background, it is often difficult to understand the distinct difference between marketing and community. I actually, and this is not a shill, this is just coincidence, but it is relevant. I just posted a thread regarding the distinct difference between what is a community, or what the distinct difference is between community and following. And this is also a great distinct difference between community management and social media marketing. And I'll give you a brief synopsis, but I encourage obviously all to take a look at the thread and possibly engage as I'm trying to make a little bit
They
of a
don't
Twitter
read, bro.
pivot.
You gotta, yeah, give them the
Yeah, okay.
TLDR.
I'll bring it to them in the voice, man. I'll bring it to them. So the distinct difference between marketing or the communities and followings is connections between people. So if you look at a community, sorry, I'll begin with following. So if you look at a following, the connections that form are to a degree hierarchical, where all of the connections between the different entities, aka the people, all relate towards this one central entity that is posting information or a message or is trying to communicate a value proposition, which is what marketing is. Because of this hierarchical structure, the flow of information and communication is in one line or a monologue. And on top of that, the total amount of connections that can establish themselves in that fashion is always limited to the one entity that is broadcasting and all the following entities that are listening. And so it is one plus your total following. Now, if you look at community, where it is an amount of entities that are gathered under the roof or in a collection, which are connected by a value or an idea, you see that if you place these entities in a community, that the amount of connections that can potentially establish between all of these entities can go far, far beyond the amount that a following can have. And this is through a mathematical formula called a binomial coefficient. That might be a bit complicated, but it is somewhat closely related to exponential. And that is because if you have a little box called a community and you've got three people in there, and two of the people are having a dialogue, a third observer can then tap into that dialogue, thereby making it a multi-log. And if you've got, for example, as I relate in my tweet, in my thread, if you have a following with one person and three followers, how many connections do you have? You have three connections between the three followers and the one who broadcasts.
And this is exactly why what I was just talking about before was happening, right? With these crow tweets, with people that weren't getting any engagement. And now today they tweet about crypto.com and it's like the biggest tweet they've ever had. And now
Exactly.
they're like influencer level.
Exactly. And if you look at the same amount of entities in the context of a community, so four, three followers, one entity, and now four entities in a community, if you look at the total amount of connections that can establish between these four entities through the binomial coefficient is 12. So with the same amount of entities between a following and a community is a difference of 3 connections with a monologue and 12 connections with a multi-log.
Mycelium, baby.
Yes,
That's all they
sir.
gotta
My
know.
William.
This is what we've been preaching for almost a year. I almost said over a year.
Yeah.
We
So
hold each other accountable. We keep each
yeah,
other honest, and everybody doesn't even realize how far they're spreading this.
exactly. And Jim, maybe another way of describing how communities are different than, for example, marketing is that your community is, especially if you're making a community for a business or a project, but we all agree that a project is a hype term used by the majority, whilst they don't know that a project is a means to an end, and 9 out of 10 times in Web3, the end is a business model or a brand. A community is your collected brand family, which you house under your roof, but that doesn't mean that that community can eventually segment itself into sub-communities which are led and organized by members of your brand family. I hope that these things make a little bit of sense, and please do respond.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. It does, because what I'm hearing from you now is you're going back to engagement, brand awareness, relationships before sales. Am I right?
Come again?
Priority wise?
Yes. Yeah,
definitely.
priority wise, you're saying engagement, brand awareness, relationships or building relationships, and then before you talk about sales.
Precisely. 100%, because sales are a consequence. No one can promise sales. If you have a marketer telling you that they can promise you an X amount of sales, or a community manager saying that they can retain a community, ensuring that they can sell, there is only one way. And I know this because I am a service provider. I do community management. I never, ever promise my clients a guarantee of even one NFT sale. Because if you provide a guarantee of sale, there's one way to achieve that. And it is an unethical way. It is insider trading.
Wash trading, straight up. And we see it. We see it everywhere. Mijo, ¿qué pasó?
Papa, I just want to take the time to point everything that Papa was saying and all the stuff we've been talking about. And look at you. You've been community building for a year. You offer information, you offer entertainment, you offer a show. Most of the time, let's say is PG-13, sometimes a little R-rated, but that's fine because guess what? We're all adults over here. But really think about it. If bro, I don't want to say names, right? But let's say like big project founders, whether they're on Chronos, CDC, on Ethereum, if they put in the effort, the amount of work, right, that you do when it comes to your community building, their floors would never, ever, ever go below mint, and they wouldn't dip, right? So nobody's perfect, and everybody has like their thing that they're good at.
You say that,
but,
right? But I'm here doing 2 shows a day, and there's only 418 Thunder tokens at this point. We all know why. And I still have to wash trade my own fucking. Excuse me. I still have to buy my own floor just to keep it above mint. Why is that, Mijo?
Was that for me?
That was a tough question.
Yeah, well, you said, why is that? You passed that question off to me onto the why you have to do the own watch trading.
I guess it was hypothetical.
I let's say you've done an awesome job with the community. I think the utility and how you communicate the utility to people outside of the community, right?
Yeah, I suck at that.
In my opinion, the best utilities are utilities that, it's like, explain to me like I'm 5. I could tell my daughter, my neighbor, I could tell somebody outside of NFTs, and they could say, damn, you all got $100 for tacos. Damn, you motherfuckers got a fridge, or you're gonna get a tattoo, right? So it's things that are easy to translate. That I think would be like where the fault is, and I don't think it's any fault of your own, because you came from the DeFi side and you're trying to apply the DeFi, the magic, and not everybody understands that. But again, it's just, you've been at this for a year. You got a strong community. People love you. Nobody's perfect, but you've done an outstanding job when it comes to that.
I appreciate you, man. That was the first time I've heard it put that way. Jimmy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you probably do what you say you do because of your background. Maybe, I'm not being a psychologist here, but maybe your upbringing, you're very competitive, and that you care too much about what people talk about. Because at the end of the day, if you if
Yeah, only son, middle child. Yeah, we talked about
yeah,
this.
that syndrome, yeah. And it's like you in the beginning when you were doing this, you had to fight a lot of fraud, and you kind of feel that you have so much to prove, whereby if you just chill out, if you don't pick up the floor, Murphy will do it, Joe Q will do it, I might do it, Daddy G might do it. So I think don't be too hard on yourself and just let it flow sometimes and see whether it's going to actually hit the bucket before you interfere.
Yeah, I don't let it get below like 419. I start buying at 419. That's very true, man. Also, it's 10 a.m. What do you know? Let's check the charts. I haven't even looked since yesterday, so this will be fun. These numbers are brought to you by Crypto.com. Please, for the love of God, don't let them be your daddy. Bitcoin is holding at almost 17.1. Not bad. This morning, kind of took off right after the show started. Tends to do that. We went all the way up to 17,150. And we're back down a little bit. ETH is at 1280. Also not bad. Matic is at 96 cents. And I've been calling that one. I'm not trying to give myself props. I'm trying to get you guys to look very closely at Polygon. Matic has really performed well. Cro is up 420. 4.20%. We are at 7.5. And those of us that bought bags at 5.8, 5.7, still feeling good. MMF is up 10%, back over a penny. Thank the Lord. That's the Chrono side. The Polygon side, like I was just saying, totally different. Polygon Matic has been ripping. I don't know who else has been making money over there with me, but it's been all right. It's been all right all week. And I stake a lot of MMO for Rapmatic, and it really works out. Oh, and Spaceship X. You guys, it's still going. It's still paying 4% a day. I really hope you've been listening to me, because that's a stablecoin pair paying 4% a day. My dad looks at me like I'm crazy. I said it yesterday. He's like, I'm still waiting for the S&P to get back to 3,000 or some shit. I mean, he says the same thing every time. And I'm like, Pop, like USD, I can make 5% a day. No shit. Mijo, what's up? If I wasn't funding Thunder myself, like I'd still have 10K staked making 5% a day over there. What's up, buddy?
You remember what man, this girl is loud. Sorry about that.
Nah, you're good.
Remember when fuck, I think it was like last week or the week before that, we were talking about youth and the price manipulation and everything coming out, and I was like, listen, I see things happening, and I know that floor is going to get close to like 400, and that is the entry point, right? And when I said that, I know people looked at me crazy. It got close. It got close because
didn't Utes go to
just
150?
Bro, no. They so when I said
D-Gods
that,
did.
when on Sol, yeah, the Sol was 150. So when I said that USD value, they were probably like 3K, and obviously FTX, Solana crash, all that. They went to 39 Sol, which was like $540 at one point. And you want to know what the worst part is? I got paid the day after. I got paid when the floor doubled, bro.
Damn.
But what that means is that there's opportunities. So if you're really holding some reserves, if you got liquidity, you got that liquidity on the side, you could have made that trade, right? Floor right now for Utes, it's back up to 1,400. So let's say you were one of the smart people, you're one of the patient people, and you literally held for less than a week. From last Wednesday, Thursday to now, and you bought it at like 540. Let's say you bought it at 600. You doubled up doing nothing, just chilling. Opportunities are coming. People are getting their apes, their mutants liquidated. If you wanted one when it was $100,000, why wouldn't you want one when it's 10,000? So be
Because
smart, save
we're
money.
catching falling knives here.
It
Straight
feels
up.
like it feels like that. It feels like that, but
It
it's
is that.
only the
It
general.
is.
It's only the general sentiment. This is a bear cycle, and we'll probably be out of it more likely than not within like 18 months.
I mean, we're lucky that we know what we're doing when it comes to Cro and Chronos projects and stuff like that. Like we knew 555 was a floor for Cro. Like a lot of people didn't know that. We're probably selling on the way down. Martek, what's up, dude? Long time.
Hey, good morning, Alpha. How's it going? Good morning,
Nanad is
everyone.
here. Nanad. What's up?
What's popping with you, yo? Yeah, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a fantastic week and all that. Just crazy, crazy time in IRL with real estate. So, I jump into spaces. I'm listening, but I ain't doing a lot of talking recently. But was listening to what Jim Star was saying earlier about building a community and stuff like that. I think just like as we see by the example that Alpha's setting, he shows up twice a day consistently, and people get to know you consistently. I've built a small following myself. I jump in every space. I'm everybody's friend. I want to get to know everybody. There's a huge blockchain out there. And the more that people see you out there, like networking, they're getting an idea of what your whole work ethic is, what your whole aura is. I think before in the earlier days it was easy to launch a project because it was so new. People were just jumping in. They weren't really worried about the community. It was all about, hey, I've got the latest NFT and everybody else has got it. And as we're seeing today, these projects that have no community, like strong community following behind them, they're actually falling off. So I think if you invest in yourself and marketing yourself before the actual product, so people can see how genuine you are. Because again, we know about the downfall sides. There's people out there that's hugging them, kissing babies, and then rugging them 2 weeks later. So just with that kind of sentiment, I think, the whole dynamic of launching a project in today's market with today's conditions have changed. People want to know who you are. They want to know your track record. They want to know your history. They want to know who you're affiliated with. Is he giving the same message in this space that he gave in the space yesterday? And they're taking note of all that kind of thing. So, I think if you truly believe in yourself and what, the value that you can bring to the blockchain itself, take all that time in marketing yourself first, before the product. So people can actually see what your disposition is like. And I think that will lead them to saying, okay, this is something that I really want to be a part of. It's not just a trend or a, fly by night firework display, bang, fizzle, it's gone. Do you know what I mean? So just keep yourself out there, Jim Star. Jump in all the spaces, meet all the projects that you need to meet. They're not your competitors. They're your colleagues within an emerging space. And slowly but surely, people will see that and they'll see the consistency in what you're putting out. And then they'll start following you into spaces. I've seen it happen. And I'm not being big-headed about it, but
Slowly but surely,
do you know what
we're
I'm saying? One day
getting
at a time.
there.
One day at a
You
time, man.
Baby,
So
run, come home.
just believe
Martek
in yourself, bro.
wisdom, man. Yeah, man. Transparency, consistency, integrity. Show that to the people, and they will like you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you know,
Wait, what were the
Oh my
palpable.
three?
God, is that
As
palpable.ether? Jeez, I haven't heard that
Can you
voice for a
believe it,
while.
troops? He's back with
Consistency,
a fucking
transparency,
vengeance.
integrity.
Oh shit, I talked over you. Sorry. Integrity, I'm down. What were the other two?
Consistency,
Fuck yeah.
transparency.
Ooh.
And by transparency, I don't mean your funds, but your openness of character and being honest about yourself and being honest about your flaws.
Hell yeah. Because this is blockchain, yo. Everybody's trying to hide shit that they can't really hide. Focus on what they're saying and why they're saying it. Don't focus on the shiny objects. There's a lot of them. We invest in people here. We always have. You know, the Twitter spaces are invaluable because of the fact that you can hear it in someone's voice. And I'll take care of the consistency. Y'all bring the transparency. Let's go.
And I was gonna say, Alpha, like, just going back to what you said, as far as like, man, I'm sitting on 40 chimps. Man, you could have said, for me, I'm gonna sit here and wait for those to 5-6x. A man of integrity said, like, you know what, I'm looking to build a project and I'm looking to build a community. Well, I could make a shitload of money off these NFTs, but let me give it to my people first. That's a major move right there.
I didn't even know any of you either. That's the thing. But like, it just didn't feel right, bro. Yeah,
That
I
was a
mean,
major move, bro.
you
That
can check the
showed.
tapes. It didn't feel right. I made a ridiculous amount of money on VVS, and I had just learned what a liquidity pool was. So it just felt weird.
But nothing for nothing. Like, again, you could have taken the selfish path and keep it to yourself, but you identified what you wanted to do. One of your goals was to build a community. So it cost you. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no give and take. There's no automatic, like, here I am, I just want to be a part of your shit. Do you know what I mean? You gave value.
That's
That
a
value.
fact, dude. Because lots of people came in, and I had that feeling. I wanted everything to happen faster. You know, I was chasing Ozzy. Ozzy had way more followers than me. And I was like, shit, man, I wish I just had 10K. Why don't I have 10K followers? But the people that tried to push it, that tried to cut corners, buy followers, you know, say things and do another, none of them are left. None of them.
So, bro, it's safe to say that you've actually spent thousands of dollars building your community, right?
Oh yeah, bro.
And that's the thing. How many projects are out there putting the money out there first to win the confidence and build a community, as opposed to like, hey, look at my PFPs, man. You need to buy into this, and like, we're gonna be great. It's not gonna happen. Not in today's market,
Yeah,
anyway. The barrier of
crowdfunding.
entry has changed. You know.
Crowdfunding what?
No, buying into people's ideas and they haven't built anything.
Yeah, I mean, we have a platform for that. Big shout out to CrowdFundsMe. They also happen to be the same people behind picking up LootPad when it died.
Yeah, launch NFT me, right?
Mm-hmm. NFTlaunch.me. And there are great projects still minting there. So don't forget about them. Chronoballs, is Balls still minting over there? Yes, sir.
New America as well. I believe they're on that platform. There's a couple others of them out there and stuff like that. But like,
Don't y'all forget about Chronoballs, man. There's only 500. Gotta mint that thing out. Before, Jesus. We gotta do it before Thanksgiving. If it hasn't been done yet.
How much
My
are they,
God.
Alpha?
What's up?
How much are they?
Chronoballs? Oh,
425.
they're worth it.
20, about 500 per ballpark.
And they're half the price USD that they were last week. We went from 12 cents to 7. New America, what's up?
Yo, what's good? New American NFT still minting on NFT Launch Me, and we're doing something crazy, man. We've been dropping free moguls. If you mint a New American NFT, you get a free mogul. I actually go mint one and send you whichever one it is. I can actually possibly mint one and end up on you 1,000 Cro. I can possibly end up minting one and on you an Oculus set. So we got 18 more that we're going to do before we cut that giveaway off. And no. We got 15 more. I think we got like 11 minutes last night from the giveaway. So 15 more, and out of that 20, out of those 15, we're gonna do 5 custom. So we're adding people names to the wheel. We're gonna do 5 custom. So yeah, man, only 116 moguls left till it's minted out. So let's fucking go.
Let's go. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Come up here with that energy. 11 minutes last night. Who knows how many we're going to do today? How many people we got in here? 75. That's the first time I even looked. It's also the first time I've told you guys to tweet out the goddamn room because only 24 of you have done that. That is 1/3. That is not bad. That is not bad. I'm not yelling at anybody. But the other 2/3, y'all got to do that. How long are we staying today? We got a late start. We started at 9.
I haven't done my admin.
Go to 11.
Hold on.
What's going on with you
Alpha.
troops?
Same old. It was a busy old weekend, as you know. It was nice
Well,
to
yeah, I
be.
saw the floor on Boss Frogs was like 600 Cro or some crazy shit.
Yeah, it did bump up for a bit, and then it's dropped back down a little bit, but it fluctuates a little bit. I think some of the community were sort of rebaselining, the cost in line with the dollar value that they want it to be at.
I like that word.
Yeah.
Rebaselining.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because we were talking about it in our VC, and it's never something that we don't typically ask the community to put whatever. It's their NFTs, but there was a lot of talk of it in a few other spaces that I was in, and it's an interesting one. It's like if you're invested in a project and you're invested and you've valued your NFT at whatever, and you've listed it for that amount, and you put the value on that based on, I guess, whatever factors. But typically you might be looking at, yes, of course, the other NFTs around it, the floor price, whatnot. But I'd like to think you're also putting a value on it based on what the project is, what the utility is, what the team are like, all these things that are that giving you the value that you think. So just because the price of Cro falls, does that then mean that the value of those things are no longer valid? Or do you feel you should still keep the value where it is? So I think it's an interesting thing for people to at least consider,
Yeah, so rebaselining. This is interesting because I didn't even ask what the definition was, but now I get it. We're talking about the value of Cro to USD goes down. So you should proportionally raise the floor of your project because your USD
if you think the
value
NFTs
is
are worth
something
$200,
yeah.
If you think they're worth $200 or $200, but then the sort of flip side to that is, should we always be thinking in terms of like USD? Isn't the point that
it's
a crow's a crow, and it's like that's the ecosystem we're in, so we should stick with it. And so that's where you get an interesting balance, I suppose.
Because that gets into like, are we being naive?
Yeah, exactly. And then I think you're from a I speak honestly and openly all the time, speaking about the the things that Pablo were saying. But from a founding project's point of view, one of the things that keep projects going and allows them to continue is obviously the royalty thing from sales. So you want a healthy sales pipeline and the secondary market, and you want a reasonable royalty from that. And of course, long time lower floor price means less royalty, which means less back to the project to continue. So if you believe in the value of the NFT in the project, then keep that floor price high so that the sales are generating. You're benefiting when it sells, and the project benefits, and everyone wins. But if we keep dropping it with the price of Cro, then it's going to be worthless, right? That's my view anyway. I think we've built the value in our communities, and it stays the same regardless of the price of Cro, I guess,
man.
in a nutshell.
And people should also realize that we're afforded the ability to speak freely in here because we don't take money from anybody. It's like we watched good people get let go this week for just attending controversial Twitter spaces. And like, I can sit here and tell you to get your money off the exchanges. I can also tell you that crypto.com is solid, even though they blocked me on Twitter. Like, I can tell you anything I want.
It's an interesting one, that too, because I don't know the ins and outs of it, right? But I think from you're talking about Red Falcon and some of the guys from Lord of the Lions, and it seems incredibly harsh if he was let go, being in a space on his personal account.
Yeah,
Seems a little
people
bit,
should know the full story. Yep.
which is why, and I only read that from his own tweet, that he was in the space on his own private account. You know, and I'm going to speak a bit openly here, and I might get like lambasted for it, but like the other fella who went in on the NFT account, and
That's
like,
Oski.
yeah, Oski.
He's Gonski.
Quite frankly, like if he worked for he was in our marketing team in our company, and he went in somewhere and represented our brand in that way, he would have been asked to leave as well. And in any kind of major company, if you're responsible for marketing the brand of that company, and that's the way you represent it, not once but on a couple of occasions, then I think it was the right move. I can't speak on the Red Falcon thing because it seems like a different situation altogether. But for that other guy, to me, it felt absolutely warranted. You know, you can't represent a company like that in such a pressure cooker situation that was going on there, and to be so flippant in his actions and taking no responsibility for his position put us all at risk. I genuinely believe that him going up there was a catalyst for what happened with Crypto.com. I genuinely believe that.
Whoa, whoa!
I
I didn't
do. I
expect
do.
that from you, Troops. That was
No, but
some
it's true.
tinfoil hat shit.
No, it's true because I was watching that whole space, right? And I know people have been talking about going on how it was a targeted campaign that was set up against Crypto.com and blah, 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 right? This is just my opinion. It's whatever people want to take of it. I don't believe for a second that whole space was a target attempt to FUD Crypto.com, but it definitely was a targeted campaign, probably a guerrilla campaign on the back of the FTX stuff for Binance to try and, grow on the back of that. And Crypto.com was just a natural target as the space unraveled. Like if you were in
There
there
were
from the
some
beginning,
strange things
there was
specific
loads of strange things,
because
right? But
I was up there the day before as a
right,
speaker, and I was up there the day before that as a speaker. And
exactly.
that day, not only did he not let me up as a speaker, but started replying to my DMs as a quote unquote assistant.
Yeah,
You know
it
what
was
I'm saying?
nonsense.
And
Like
I was
the
like,
whole
all
thing
right.
is like that guy Mario is paid. Like that's what he does. That's their business, right? So it was clearly a paid pumped space to on the back of a campaign to bring awareness to Binance and all that stuff. I think the point I was making is that I don't think part of that strategy, like see this is against my opinion. I don't know if CZ and Co had sat down and said, right, let's target crypto.com and let's make this like a conscious effort. I think that's just the way the space went. And from my recollection, and again, I'm happy to be proven wrong. When I was listening in the previous days, I hadn't heard them mention crypto.com once. And it might have just been bad timing or whatnot. But after he went up in that space and got made a fool out of, it then gave them a target to start saying, well, what about crypto.com? What are they doing? What do they look like? And then the whole narrative started to moving towards that. And it might be a coincidence, but I was there and I was listening just like you guys were, and I hadn't heard them mention crypto.com once until that point. So
Well,
you
one of
gotta
the
you gotta
reasons
be
I go up
responsible.
there is to bring crypto.com into the conversation
Yeah.
and not to pump my own bags. I mean, maybe, right? In all honesty, but like, I don't see any direct correlation between me talking about Crow and my bags going up. But
Well, we're representing something that we kind of believe in. Legend had a little pop at me in our little tip for tat. He was saying that I was only doing what I was doing to pump my bags, which is a ridiculous statement. I decided and made a conscious effort, and I talked to the troopers community about it, that in a time like that weekend, and I think maybe Carl might have done the same, whether cognizantly or not, that it was our responsibility to stand up and help represent the chain that was getting a little bit of attack. And lots of other people did, loads of Loaded Lions, other founders, other project leaders kind of stepped forward and said, okay, well, we'll give the voice and have the conversation and let people come and be part of it. And that's what I like. There's nothing to do with pumping bags or anything like that. But it is trying to look after the investments of everybody who's in these communities. But and I'm not trying to go all in on that dude. I don't know him at all, but it was a pretty irresponsible move.
oh, 100%. And the things that they were just throwing out there as conjecture
That
and
was
claiming
nonsense.
to fact check everything. It was just,
Yeah.
it's incredibly damaging.
And the
But we bought
organization,
that dip. I mean, everything is what it is.
yeah, but the organization did deal with it. We don't need to keep going over it, but like
Yeah.
the way that it was managed, and I know there was a few people saying that we need more comms. The way that the comms were like deliberately managed, they were considered and thought through. And at the point when Chris did kind of reactively put out some tweets, you saw what happened on the back of it. It kind of almost fueled the flames and almost kind of made it worse. And then they retracted back a little bit, thought, okay, let's get the considered comms out. And then 24 hours later came out with the AMA and everything else and kind of distanced themselves for a little bit. And then,
And he looked good on Squawk Box. And the reason I'm saying he looked good is because I happened to see the footage of Sam Bankman-Fried on Squawk Box, because every freaking YouTube video on crypto is about FTX right now. And I'm sick of hearing about it. But like, I'm definitely looking at a lot of clips that I've never seen before. And like, just the way he walks, like, how do you put money into that? How does anybody put money into that? Or like how he sits in a chair. Who wears cargo shorts and sandals? I've been telling you guys this for way too long. Look at the shoes. This is an age-old euphemism. You look at the shoes. They were doing that in the 1800s. They've been doing it since shoes were invented. You're going to do business with a guy or a lady, look at their damn shoes. Carl, what's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? I have a couple things, but I'll start with just one. So, obviously, the whole Red Falcon thing, we have no idea what actually happened behind closed doors. I will say, though, that, like, the distinction, like, this is what people need to understand as this space matures, because there's a lot of people that we would maybe classify as, like, I'm a degen. This is decentralized Wild Wild West stuff. I've worked at a publicly traded company for my entire career. I would be, over the last decade, privy to a lot of information at this company or companies that I've worked at that would be considered confidential information. And it doesn't matter at all if I'm on my company account, my personal account. Like, that distinction means nothing. So like this whole like shroud of like, oh, I was doing things on a personal account means really nothing at all. So the only thing I'd say is, like, what people need to understand, especially like if someone like what I would assume what crypto.com is trying to do, when you listen to Chris talk, and they're trying to be as regulated as possible and trying to be as above board as possible. So they would follow the same tropes as what a, above board, securitized, actual regulated company would do. And if your employees are out in Twitter spaces communicating with the masses, your words can be taken in any given way, and that could be considered not okay to publicize. So it was actually one of the things I mentioned in their space, because I was able to get up there like really late that night after Chris had his AMA, and they're like, well, why doesn't he come in here and talk? And I'm like, okay, first of all, this is just a Twitter space. Chris isn't just going to come in here off the cuff just randomly answering questions because they're trying to be above board. They're like having a controlled environment. That doesn't mean that they can't be transparent, but you can't just go around and just saying whatever you want, especially when you're running a company at that scale. So
and that's what I felt was the thing, just for troopers. Like, I felt like they were pissed that he didn't show up because everybody else did, and it was like a fucking ego thing.
Yeah, but just like Carl said, like if you're in a public company, and don't forget that crypto.com will have like actual shareholders as well. I don't know the regulation in Singapore like I do here in the UK, but you're not allowed to talk. Like you can't, there's rules and regulations around that stuff. You can't just jump into a Twitter space and start talking about it. And sorry, Dad, I know you had your hand up, but like just a quick story. I did the exact same thing happen to me. Like Carl, I worked in a public traded company for a long time, and I made my LinkedIn very generic. Like I actually removed my picture, didn't mention the company I worked for, and changed it all because during COVID-19, I was getting involved in discussions and conversations in COVID to do with COVID, surprise, surprise, that was contrary to what the organization I worked for would have thought. And but it got picked up, and I got pulled up. I was a senior person in that organization, and I was taken up in front of the CEO and given a very stern warning about the fact that regardless of whether I'm representing the company, people can make the connections, and just to be more mindful of it. And I should have known better after sort of 10 years there.
There's an industry in particular, and then I'll go, Daddy. I don't mean to cut you, but like I will not comment on the what my opinion is of that particular industry's like future outlook, like what forecasting is for that particular part of the country. Because again, privy to information that can't be public about. Doesn't matter if I'm on Elder Carl or Joe Zarni or my business account. Like it does not matter. Can't talk about it. Period. So that's probably in the vein of what I think probably happened. But again, I'm just completely guessing here. Sorry.
I always forget your name's not Carl.
What the shit?
What the fuck?
What the? My whole world has just collapsed.
Mind blown.
Daddy, and then Martek.
Hey, what's up? I've been in and out with service. Chronos Ball's stuck at work, and he asked me to tell you guys that he's doing the 1,420 Thunder tokens for every mint to 350, and the price
that was
is
a lot of numbers. Hold on. That was 1,420, 350.
No, it's 7,420 Thunder tokens giveaway for every mint to 350. And the mint price is 475. Sorry, a lot of numbers. I pinned it on top as well.
No, I got it that time.
I appreciate it.
Listeners, buddy.
I gotta get to work. I'll see you guys a little bit later.
Appreciate
Lots
you.
of love.
Yeah, man. Like, we should be talking about Chronoballs more. And I say that every day. So do the math. Martek, what's up?
Yeah, just wanted to chime in on that. Just the events over the weekend. I did jump into the big space on Sunday. Didn't really feel like it was my place to speak on anything because these were things that were just totally out of my control. But I think for all of us, we got to look at the bigger picture. This is business. This is multi-billion-dollar business. You're going to try and drag a man into a Twitter space so that he can explain himself. You're delusional, right? He explained himself today on the world stage, CNBC. That's where you can find me. Do you know what I mean? Sending him tweets and messages. Hey, Chris, come in here. He's not on that level. We need to understand. This man is running a worldwide multi-billion-dollar corporation. Stop being delusional. That's mob mentality. Yeah, we should get Chris in here. He don't owe you shit to come in there and talk to you on a small platform.
And Twitter is nothing but mob mentality, right?
Exactly. Come see me on a world stage because I'm doing world
that's
business.
Also the bubble, right? That's the bubble of the crypto Twitter, and also, I mean, just on the flip side, that don't be under the disillusion. Like crypto Twitter is extremely powerful, an extremely powerful space, and it can move markets, pretty easily. But he's still not going to get dragged into that. It's definitely not his vibe. Who was it who was saying what space were we in when they were saying how boring he is? I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Gooding.
I love how boring he is. It's my favorite thing.
That's what we want. The fact that he's just so boring. I'm definitely going to invest in him.
We do not want a cult of personality. We have seen it way too many times. When we say we invest in people, we don't mean we have to like you. We don't have to like you. We have to like what your personality, how your personality matches whatever you're pitching. And Chris is pitching a centralized exchange. You better be boring as fuck. Sorry, Nat. We said in here, you would let him do your taxes. That's the guy you want. That's all we're looking for.
I think the biggest thing, and who the hell is going to know if it was actually coordinated or not? Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I think the biggest thing when you listen to what their issues are is Crypto.com and a lot of these places like Crypto.com, like a Coinbase, because Crypto.com is closer to Coinbase probably than to Binance in a lot of cases. Stands for kind of against what a Bitcoin maxi would believe this space to be built for, right? So somebody who, like the very first people to ever get into crypto that were mining bitcoins when they were worthless and handing them out on Reddit and buying pizzas with them, and like those guys like have a problem with companies like crypto.com because it kind of goes against the main kind of core utopian view that everybody would kind of be wanting, right? Which is this fully decentralized world of finance where there's not a single ounce of centralization. But what they don't understand is there's probably some middle ground future that has both worlds. You have decentralized and centralized finance functioning and working together and has their own place. But so like a place like crypto.com like ultimately doesn't fit what their utopian view is. And you hear them talk, they actually don't have any idea of how the ecosystem works at all. They don't know that Kronos even exists. Like so they truly have no clue. It's not like they have a good understanding of how crypto.com works. It just falls under the umbrella of centralized exchange, therefore it sucks. And that was kind of how I took it, at least.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a pump today in Cron, which is the token for the Kronos node project, soon to be switched over to Cargo. But yeah, CNBC is so goddamn clueless. They called Cro Cron, and Chris is so nice that he didn't even correct them. So
yeah, I noticed that. I was waiting for him to correct it, but he never did.
Like, people are gonna look for it. I'm telling you.
That was bad.
That was bad.
Did you see that he also put crofam in his tweets? I've
I
never seen him
like
tweet
that.
crofam
He also
ever.
followed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably followed Crypto Diamond.
He followed.
Yeah, I got to follow too.
Zeus got to follow.
Wow.
Zeus tweeted it out, man.
Yeah. But no, I agree with Chris. It's funny because a lot of us in this space, we're in here preaching and teaching about DeFi. So a lot of us have the same kind of bittersweet relationship with Crypto.com, but unlike those maxis that Carl's talking about, we also understand that there is a DeFi chain, there's a DeFi wallet that's well promoted, and Crypto.com, one of the things we've talked about here that we like is the fact that it is kind of keeping our foot in both camps at this point until it sees how it's all going to shake out. And that's kind of what feels good for us, I guess, is a bit of both. But, sometimes we're like, ooh, because it is what it is. Oh,
sorry to cut you off there. We're getting breaking news here that Chris actually followed DeFi Dave yesterday. Oh, boy.
Well, DeFi Dave,
dude, he was putting in work.
He was putting in work.
I know. I give him a hard time. He does a good job.
And I do as well. I give him a hard time too. But some of the tweets that he was putting out and the stuff that he was saying, fair play.
He got a lot of engagement, and I think that's the important thing right now. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of engagement farming, but Cro is a hot topic, and people are look, if they're not hearing it from us, they're going to hear it from somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about, basically. So get out there.
Me, I'm not one to get spicy also. But
of course not.
It has been interesting to see some old familiar faces coming out of the woodwork when there is a bit of engagement farming to be done.
You can't say "I told you so" when you didn't say shit.
Yeah. A lot of people have been excited the last couple of days, now that Crow's hot topic. Oh shit, where have you been? Nice to see you again. What's up?
Everybody's coming back. Hey, I said it, so I got to stick with it because this is on the blockchain now. Open arms. We're here to receive everybody back with open arms, right, Zeus?
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if Troop said it already, but 8-person space is tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. If anyone wants to come and hang out,
let's talk about it Tuesdays.
Yep, pinned it up top, and then at 9:30, right after that space, we're jumping into the Fox's Discord and having some poker. If anyone wants to jump in and play some free poker.
Hey, we're getting very close to having a schedule here. I can feel it. We've got Priestley just waiting.
We have Texas set up that space for Saturday. I was going to go around inviting everybody as well to that. I think we'll have a guest that we haven't talked to as a community in a while there. I'm waiting to get final confirmation, but Should be good if you guys
Is
can
it the
make it in the
guy?
morning.
Is it the kid with the lion, the $1 million lion?
No, it's not a kid.
Oh man, we got to get him back. We got to do a check-in with him. You know who I'm talking about, Zeus. What was his name?
I don't know his name. I know Texas is going after this kid with like 90,000 followers on YouTube. He was talking about lions for a while, trying to
What
see
kid?
some kid. I don't know his name.
We got to
He's
get these
trying to get
kids.
him.
We got to get these kids in line, troops.
Are you guys
Honestly.
talking about? Are you guys talking about Legend?
No.
No.
Joke. Sorry, Legend. Just in case you're listening.
Bird.
No,
No, but seriously, troops.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad saying this. We gotta get all the kids in line, bro. Because look what happened this year. Every single time it was a goddamn 20-year-old blowing billions out his ass.
Yeah.
And it wasn't his. It was ours.
I know. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the
We've got to
adults in the
hope
room
there's
need
like
to
a.
take over. Yeah,
We've
sorry.
got to hope. Yeah, we've got to get more involved, and then hopefully the next generation. I think it was ITK, wasn't it? Was talking about that. You know what Crypto.com is doing in terms of the advertisement and making sure that all the current 13, 14, 15-year-olds who are going to be watching all these sporting events, when the time comes for them to invest, where they're going to put their money, they're going to put it in crypto.com because that's all they've seen, all these events. So hopefully they'll then take more responsibility and start building some awesome, real free and open and fair applications of this technology.
Yeah, because Chris said some great things in that interview that a lot of people just aren't going to understand. They're going to hear it, but they won't even know what he's talking about. Because he was talking about DeFi. And he was talking about how Crypto.com supports but does not control the Kronos chain. And that there are 400 projects building on the Kronos chain with Cro. And that DeFi is the answer. Open source, public ledger.
Yeah, he even called it a smaller Ethereum. He compared it to
Yeah,
ETH.
he called it a mini ETH. I think that was just his way of explaining a EVM chain. Right? A mini Ethereum.
Yeah, just to dumb it, I'm not trying to say people watching the news are dumb, but just to dumb it down a little bit, right?
I mean, how do we explain DeFi? We haven't figured it out. We've been talking about it for a year. I still don't know how to do it. I say be your own bank. I say own your keys, own your crypto. What else do I need to be saying? Get your crypto off the exchanges. And if you're going to onboard, do it through an exchange that you trust. I trust crypto.com for that very reason. They promoted DeFi to the point that I took the leap.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? It's an up, like in ramp and an out ramp for you. Like you should be on DeFi and then just use the decentralized exchanges just to come in and out of crypto.
And when you hear the CEO on the news after the biggest coordinated FUD campaign that we've seen, and he's saying DeFi, we support the bridge, we made it as easy as possible to connect your DeFi wallet and your centralized wallet. That I'm bullish. Let's just say that. Bullish. Old King Cole, what's up, buddy?
What's happening? I'll cut to the chase. The thing about bringing on new people currently is, like, collectively, we're all here. We've all been here a while. The language that we're all using is we're all familiar with nowadays. So it just becomes almost like a white noise to onboard new people. And I think ultimately, I mean, I don't have kids or elderly relatives that I can go and muggle off to and talk about crypto. But you've got kids, and how would you onboard your kids into it, or your neighbors, or your grandparents?
I already have, and you guys heard me do it in the space. I said, you can't have that video game until you play Croge River. You can't buy anything until you stack some coins and earn it. And then I show them how to write down a seed phrase. and they know
We-
where I keep them. And
I
that's
still
about as
know
far as
people,
the
yeah.
9 and 10-year-old are going to get right now.
I still know people that have been in crypto quite a while and still don't DeFi because they're just shit scared of it and they don't fundamentally understand it. And because they don't understand it, they don't want to learn. And I bang my head against a brick wall trying to teach them in crayons and they just don't fucking get it.
Well, that's kind of that's why I think this is one of those things where it's like, that's why you need the centralized entity to be able to have those people still a part of the overall ecosystem, right? But maybe they, because there are going to be people that just will never go to DeFi, period. Like they just don't care. Like I've had these conversations with some really smart people.
Even if you can't stake it, even if there's no rewards on that
they
side,
don't care. They don't
Wow.
care. They just they view it
they want
as
someone else to hold it for them. That's
correct.
the utility.
They want they view it as like a stock, right? Like, what do you do with your stocks today? You stake it somewhere? Do you put it in a bunch of shit and move it around? No, you buy it and you watch it go up or down. Like that's what they're used to, and they don't want to. There are people that will never go to DeFi, like period. I'm steadfast by this. Like they just will live and die on the centralization, and that's okay. That's why you
Right? We
need
don't
people
need
like
everybody, but we
Yeah,
do
that's right.
need the majority, don't you think? Because if you're
so
not holding the coins, then we're not really doing crypto.
And
I
there's
kind of
like,
want to
back
jump
to that,
in.
there's even people that like paper certificates for their stocks. And it's like, Jesus Christ, we've moved a hell of a long way.
Yeah, I kind of want to jump in a little bit. So, that's kind of our ethos, and that's why I feel like I kind of want to speak on it a little bit is, to try to make it easy as possible for people to get into DeFi is very hard. So, like, we have a learning hub where people can go to learn about, DeFi itself. What we try to do with our app is there's on ramps for fiat, but it's still decentralized. So, it's not a perfect solution yet because there's just not very many options available, but it does work well enough, I feel. And within the app, like, you know, how do you tell somebody how to add an RPC, right? Like, it's a pain in the ass. Like, they're going
That's
to be
a
like,
tough
what's an RPC? Yeah, but the app itself already comes equipped with whatever chain we're supporting already set up for you. So you just import a wallet, which it also works. It works it through for you. Like it'll tell you, okay, this is what you're doing. You're creating a wallet. This is what a seed phrase is. This is why you need to keep it. And then you can trade and swap because we have multiple liquidity pools for each of the chain, whether it's ours or the main one on each chain. So it's a lot of work to get it to understand, to get people to understand, right? And there's links in the app for 24/7 support where it's like, me or one of the guys will always be on there to be able to answer questions for you. Like, dude, we've spent so much time, like, even just helping people understand what the hell MetaMask is and like set up and why something's not working. So
I think
it,
that's all we got. Is this like one-on-one? Like we have to just hold hands like we've been doing for the past year.
Yeah, for now, because CDC is working on something. Remember, Alpha, we were talking about it, like the university section. So
I've
they're
tried
working on a
to
section.
do it, but it
They
feels
well,
super janky.
yeah, they're putting more funds into it, and they
I'm
funded
patient.
Eat the Blocks, the guy on YouTube. Like he's
Mhm.
super smart, and like he's doing like classes and stuff on YouTube. So we might see
Has
something.
anyone made progress, Zeus or Carl or Troops, on what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, which was the button that's on crypto.org and Chronoscan, the one that says add Chronos to MetaMask, and it's just a very simple one click for people to add the RPC.
No, I
You
haven't.
guys remember talking about that?
Yeah, but I haven't looked into anything.
I know we didn't do it either, but we all said, hey, we should have that on our websites because people are going there to learn about Cro, and there's no reason why we can't have the exact same button as all the other official websites where you add the RPC to MetaMask automatically, because it is the hardest. It's probably the hardest thing.
do you remember when I first got started? Like, I was trying to add the Binance Smart Chain, right? And I didn't realize that there's a Binance chain and there's a Binance Smart Chain. And it took me the longest time just to find the right information and about what the difference is between BNB on the Binance chain and BNB on the Binance Smart Chain.
And we've got
So
people in here right now, right? There's 70 people in here. We got people in here right now that hold Cro and don't know that crypto.org is different from Chronos.
Speaking of which, why can't we go to Dex Tools, have a bot or some kind of automated system that finds your token, copies a token address, and imports that into MetaMask, so people don't have to do that manually either?
Oh, they're doing that token identification. Token. What do they call it?
yeah, so you can search for like a token name and it'll pull up the contract most of the time. Like if it's popular enough, I believe it's still not for like it's not perfect for everything, but I
It's
mean
getting better.
that's what Ardex does as well, like with charts and everything else. Like you can just search for a token and it'll input it into whatever the swap is at the time. So, it's a lot of work, like just to get all of that stuff done. And the easier that we can make it for people, that is paramount because let's be honest, like we're all talking about these terms right now. It's like fucking sorry, Nat. It's like talking Greek to people, right? Like, I mean, what is DeFi? What is an RPC? Like, they have no idea. Like, we all had to learn this. Like, dude, I remember just sitting down for a month and watching YouTube videos about like blockchain technology and everything else.
I was hosting these spaces a solid 2 months, maybe 3, before learning what an RPC was and how to do it.
Yeah.
So that's Lo, what's up? Sorry.
Good conversation. I'm loving this BNB chat. This is good. This is good space. Can you guys hear me okay? I do that to see if you guys can hear me okay. Here's kind of the reality. I think everything we're talking about is part of the puzzle. But let's look big picture, right? Because at the end of the day, if the problem that we're trying to solve is bringing people to the chain, we've got to give people a reason to come to the chain. Right now, there's not a lot of reason, right? And so I think some of us, if not all of us, recognize that Cro, the utility behind it is minimal, right? The main utility behind Cro is for us to be able to operate within the Chronos ecosystem. Now there are other ancillary like amplifiers and staking and things like that people could take advantage of. All goodness and everything, but fundamentally, Cro, what it's used for is interoperability with the chain. Right now, there's little reason to be here, right? And when we think about bringing users to this chain, it's just like anybody that enter crypto, or it's just like anybody that goes to do anything in life. People go to university to get a degree to be a doctor, right? That's a lot of hard work, but they do it because there's a path to prosperity through it. So finding out how to use MetaMask, learning all the vernacular around crypto and NFTs. If people see that there's money to be made, they're going to spend the time to do it. And all the university stuff, all the crypto dummies type of guides to help people, those are enablers. Those will help people once they figure out and decide, hey, this is something I want to explore. It'll make it easier for them to come into the space, right? But fundamentally, it's the flaw is that there's no reason to be here. Because there is no path to prosperity right now. We're looking forward. And so we need crypto.com, we need Chronos to help explain or paint the picture of why people should be here today and in the future, right? Because it's basic tokenomics. They're trying to create an economy on this chain that is going to create supply and demand for the token. And we will utilize that token at different, we'll say, storefronts. Each project is a storefront. Swaps, staking is a storefront. And so all these different things will be how we use them. Now, do we see us being able to use Cro to buy a margarita at CDC Arena? Probably not. Because that's just the middleman token now, right? Because I might as well just buy it with USDC rather than Cro.
Speaking
right?
of which, you saw USDC is now accepted with Apple Pay this morning, so that's huge.
So at the end of the day, it's it's why are people going to be here, right? And we collectively need to be vocal, ask for more clarity, and also when we have new projects come in, demand more, because there are some great projects on the chain right now, but they're, are they going to be unifying demand drivers to bring people to the chain? Nah. We could talk to the Meerkats, we could talk to the Skull, we could talk to the Boomers, we could talk to any project. Anybody coming in today, they're not coming in here at the hope of, oh, I'm going to make, generational wealth, or, this is going to make me a lot of money. And we're early, and I think we all recognize that. And the reality is that if people are coming in today, they're investing for the future, but it's a gamble when you're investing in the future and there's no direction that's being provided, right? So what is Chronos going to become, right? We don't know. And CDC, what is their vision for helping enable some of that? They're very tight-lipped about that too. So at the end of the day, I look at this like a city, right? And people want to live in your city if there are reasons to live there that
Yeah,
align with who
something
they
made you
are.
want to build that mansion in Crotopia, right, Lo?
Yeah, but not to deter from the point, right? So this is a city, and if you're gonna, like, it's Manhattan, right? You're gonna go spend $3,000 a month on rent. Like, there's reason for that, right? You either see that you're going to get that and more through work that you have in the city, or you're going to take away lifestyle enjoyments, whether it be theater, whether it be whatever. And so we've got to think about things like that too, where it's not just about trying to make it easier for people to come here, but creating reasons why they should come here.
But all the chains have the same issue, right, Lo? Because BNB,
Every
what's the
every
point of holding
every
BNB? What's
every
the point
chain,
of holding ETH right now? There's
and
no
that's the whole
use
thing.
for ETH.
No, and that's the whole thing about crypto, right? And you could be bullish on crypto and bearish on Crow or BNB, right? And you're exactly right, Zeus. That's the dichotomy associated with BTC, ETH, any crypto coin, is that you're investing, and the value of it is the value that the community is putting on it, right? But we're more interested in Crow right now, right? And so all those other chains can do what they're going to do. We have an opportunity to influence and try to do something here, right? Because I think we have some very connected people. We have people that are very vocal, and when we got projects and everything that come in here, like, we can help direct that energy and put it in a place where
Not a bad
it could.
point, man. Like, Chris follows all of us now, so
Yeah, I
that's
saw that. But anyway,
he's
I
been
share that.
following me. His company blocked me, but he follows me, so I don't care.
So I just share that for perspective, right? Is that all this onboarding stuff is great, right? And it's useful and necessary, but we need to look at the bigger picture, right? Because if it's opportunity cost, if we're going to spend an X amount of energy on this, could we spend it on something else and get more? And I think in this case, there probably is another couple of things that we could be doing that could be more return on that time investment that we're putting
Oh,
out.
well, then tell us that, man. Jeez.
Sorry, I have to color it, Alpha. I can't just.
Where are we gonna make more money than we are here?
No, it's not about making more money elsewhere. It's
Oh,
about using the time that we have here, using it wisely, and then we can make money here. We don't got to go elsewhere to make money. It's kind of like when people invest in stocks. Sometimes they'll get into sectors or industries that they don't understand because they read an article or they see a trend going in that direction, and then they end up not making money, right? But they overextended themselves because, not from a financial standpoint, but from an attention standpoint and education standpoint. So stick to what you know. And sometimes if you just help develop your city, right? I mean, this country was based on people, setting foot and planting themselves in a certain area and then just developing those different areas. So
hey,
But
I put on for my city.
You
The
say like you say that the other chains will do what they'll do and everything, but it's like, maybe I can offer like a little bit of a cross chain perspective here, right? So it's like there's people in DeFi that are on the other chains that aren't on Crow, and they already know about DeFi. So, it is a good thing to keep in mind what they're doing, because if we can bring them over here, then maybe they're more bullish on the Chronos chain. It's like, as far as we go, like most of our users are on BNB, right? But every time that I post about Crow, or every time that I have something to say about it, that's more eyes on it that say, oh, hey, there's another chain out here. Maybe like they're doing some cool stuff over there. And that's what I'm always trying to do, because Crow is personally my favorite. We're a whole team. I can't speak for everybody, but
Let's go.
that's kind of my goal. That's the way I see it, is like there's still people that know DeFi that we need to onboard over here.
I
No,
think we have a
certainly.
very delicate situation here with Solana, and I think we gotta work as a group to play our cards right, because
Yeah,
they need a lifeline.
it's like Apple and Microsoft, and we'll use that as an example for cross chain, right? For people who own shares in either company, their desire is to talk to anybody that they know to get them to drive their money or interest to the affiliating company, right? And so when we talk about cross chain and bringing people over, that's what we're kind of doing. But there's another layer of this where we're also, if you're the head or heads of Microsoft and Apple, you're looking at each other to see how you guys are moving, because you're competing, right? So there are different layers. You got to find where you are at. I'm just speaking more so like on a macro level, how we view these things and correlate it to make it simpler for people to understand, to Web 2, Wall Street, and all these different things. Because I think sometimes we say, we start to detach the two. And there, when it comes down to it, like there are business principles that are very applicable. We just got to find the applicability in what it already exists.
It's almost 11. Oh, it is 11. Can I ask you guys a quick question? How is it that all of the wrapped Bitcoin on Solana was not backed by anything, when we know how many Bitcoin there are in existence, and we know how much is being held by every single wallet holding it? So how is it that we can have any discrepancies in the float to the tune of billions of dollars of wrapped Bitcoin on Solana that wasn't backed by any Bitcoin? We got someone waving, wanting to come up here with one follower. Yeah, nobody. Not even a buck-toothed kitty cat.
The whole like cross chain thing, like growing through cross chain, like obviously we need to continue to work on bridging people across all these areas, but it's like a bigger micro, or like it's like a bigger example of what we talk about in Kronos here, right? What is one of the common thing we talk about here, which is we have a handful of projects and you have the same community members moving money between the same different projects, like, and so you're just doing the same thing. Going cross chain is, although healthy and good, it's kind of the same thing, but just at a bigger scale, right? The real bag, the real grab is the people that aren't in crypto yet. And to Lowe's point, they need to find a reason to come here, more than just ease of access. I agree with that logic. I think the one thing that we continue to forget about when it comes to things like this, like if you look at like what is the value of crypto, like literally, like why is crypto good? If you like, to me, there's a lot of people that'll say like, oh, the technology is amazing, and I'm looking for like everyone keeps saying, I'm waiting for the next big innovative thing and the next amazing, like it's the same thing with the internet. The internet wasn't, if you really think about it, although it's super revolutionary, like if you break it down from a layman's perspective, all it did was remove barriers and make it easier for people to interact with each other at a larger scale, right? That's what crypto does even further. You allow money to move across more borders more easily. So I don't think you really need to, like, everyone keeps looking for this like massive thing that no genius has come up with yet, as some like super innovative technology that's crazy. No, it's just good businesses that are utilizing Web3 and crypto correctly into their business is, to me, the adoption path that matters more than anything. Like all of the successful businesses that have come up from, the dot-com era and like all the internet stuff aren't that revolutionary. I mean, if you really think about it, it's just the scalability is what's revolutionary. The way that they interact and the logistics behind their business is the revolutionary part of it, right? Amazon is a big Walmart that just brings shit to your door very easily, essentially, is what it is, right? and it's like an oversimplification of what it is, but that's not that revolutionary. The revolution behind Amazon is the ease of access, the information flow, which is enabled by the internet, and their logistics network and like their whole like actual infrastructure around how they move products from a vendor to your door at lower cost than what you could probably go to like Walmart or mom and pop, hardware store to buy stuff
And
at.
aren't we all here because we think that crypto.com has the best chance of being the place where everybody goes to get crypto because it's easy?
I do, personally.
Yeah.
See,
Zeus, what's up?
Oh no, I just wanted to answer your because you asked a question and no one answered you. I think if the tokens are supposed to be locked in the contract, the wrapped tokens, and they put the Bitcoin and the wrapped Bitcoin comes out. So I guess it wasn't in there. Like the
Yeah,
contract,
but with
they empty it out.
all the sleuths that we have, right? All these blockchain detectives, the real ones.
Yeah, but they're
Like, how
detectives
is it
after
that they don't
issues
have a
happen.
count?
Yeah, they're detectives after the issues happen, right? They look into it.
Always afterwards. Always.
Hey, Carl, I just wanted to touch on your point because you hit it on the head, and it was something I was talking with someone about yesterday, where they were wondering, are we going to recover from this, right? And I said, think about it kind of corollary to the dot-com bust, right? It didn't mean the internet was going away. It just meant that it was clearing the road. And years later, we were going to have innovation come through, right? And so the underlying technology behind cryptos and NFT blockchain, technology, that is the enabler. From an economic view, like this is a correction, and it's going to create opportunity for people to come in and utilize that technology for something that we probably don't envision quite yet. And if we do envision it, we're probably working it behind the scenes, right? And so I would ask, I would say, study what happened during the dot-com bust, because I think we're kind of seeing a little bit of that happen now, right, with the collapsing of different dexes and exchanges and things of that nature.
A lot of correlation. Ricky, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to hit on the, what the big revolution of crypto is. And I think we mentioned ease of access, and I think that's super important. I think that's important for adoption rates, though. Ease of access and ease of use, which is two of the reasons why I really like crypto.com, right? I think that's why we all do. And then on top of that, I think they're one of the most prominent exchanges set up for when regulation really hits. But as far as crypto goes, and what makes crypto so much better than fiat or anything else we have out there right now, in my opinion, is global commerce. I think that's going to be huge, and I think crypto crosses borders much easier than fiat does. And then on top of that, another really important factor, which also leads into global commerce, is putting the money back in the hands of the people and getting it out of government control. And I think that, one, makes governments better, less draw to money and power, and two, makes the ability to manipulate the currency a lot more difficult.
I think to kind of piggyback on that, I think governments will eventually, they don't like not being in control. So eventually they will find a way to control it. I think we see crypto manipulation is very easy to be done right now. And we see it on a variety of different chains. But the other thing I was thinking, Carl, when you were speaking, was also what got us here, right? We had a bull run, and let's not kid ourselves. A lot of that was attributed to COVID, and people now staying at home and having more time to venture off and research, and a lot of us were bored, and so I think a lot of people also came into this space because of that time availability. Now that the world is opening up, the good thing is the fundamental technology now, I think, is understood to a greater degree, but we're now going to be combating with people returning to their day-to-day lives, right? So how so that next trickle up that people, we're eventually going to turn a trend, right? We're going to move out of this bear market back into a bull, but we probably need to manage expectations to say that run up may not be as swift, and it's okay. It just gives us time to accumulate and position ourselves for the long term.
Yeah, this is going to be a while. It's going to be a minute. I agree with that. Like, there's not I see a lot of people like get ready for the bull. I mean, obviously, this is my opinion, not financial advice, all this bullshit, which means nothing, anyways. But like, I don't think we're in this for a while. And to this whole again, like what Ricky you said, it's about the ease of use, easy to move money across borders. And I made this point the other day. If I want to buy something from somebody who made something in Europe or in Asia or wherever, I could do it in like 2 seconds right now, no problem with crypto. Whereas if I were to do it with fiat, it'd be way more challenging, right? But like, what I would challenge people, and this is something we've talked about like in our own like internal office hours, like really think about the question, like if your coworker, your dad, your sister, whoever it is that is a complete layman when it comes to crypto, doesn't understand anything, like explain to them what the benefit of crypto is, but not in a 30-minute 1 hour spiel. Like what is the fundamental purpose of crypto? And a lot of people probably struggle with that answer. To me, my answer would always be it's just another and easier avenue for money to move across borders. It kind of again broadens our world into like a larger place, which then always enables better growth. It allows people to connect and work with each other more. That to me is the benefit of it. There's the decentralized piece, which obviously is a big part of it. I think there'll be some minor shift in what you would call like Big Brother having control of financing in the world. But to Lowe's point, at the end of the day, Uncle Sam and every other version of Uncle Sam across the world, whether you like it or not, they're going to get their hands in your pockets. Like it's happening, it's going to happen. Like this idea that we're just going to completely separate from the government's having any say in what we're doing, I think is kind of again, it's a little bit of a pipe dream, especially with things like this that go on, right? With FTX, like it's pretty clear that people need some sort of, not everybody, but the world at least believes that there needs to be some sort of oversight. I don't necessarily agree with that logic, but I don't get to make all the rules either. So I think there'll be some shift, but to me, it's the ease of money, the ease of use, the ease of access, which is what the internet did. This is just taking it another step further in my mind.
Well, and I think that it's really important to have governmental regulation, because that makes the what you would consider the layman comfortable with it, to say, oh well, all these really intelligent people have looked over this and they said that these are the rules that need to be in place, and so they're there. When I say taking the money out of governmental control, what I should say is taking the printing ability out of their control, because when the government goes and prints money to give to other people, really what they're doing is just stealing little tiny bits from everybody. And really the important part is the blockchain oversight of the public on centralized servers of the governmental spending, right? And so those are things that I think are important. So I shouldn't say that it takes the control of money away. I should say it takes total control. It takes the governmental dictatorship over money away.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I do think that like if the world is set up today, like pre-crypto, I know the numbers aren't right, but let's just say that like 90% of the money is controlled by either the top 1%ers, or it's probably 99%, or the government, right? Like they control everything. And crypto might shift that maybe like 5%, 2%, 3%, which is still massive in the scale of what we're talking about. But like there are people that fully believe that like in 100 years or whatever, which might be the case in 100 years, but in 10 years, there is no government that controls any dollars, and that we look at a dollar bill and say, let's just use it for toilet paper because it means nothing. Like I don't think we'll ever get there, at least in my lifetime.
Hey, there's a lot of opinions out there, right? And that's fine. I've always welcomed all opinions in here. There's also a lot of misinformation out there, so we got to do our best to combat that when we actually know what we're talking about. And we're going to run this space a little longer than we usually do because, well, for that specific reason.
Yeah, sorry, Alpha. I know you probably have other things to do, and I didn't help the time management part. But I'm loving this conversation, and Ricky and Carl and everybody. You guys are giving me things to go mull about for the rest of the day. But I think about currencies, and you think about the U.S. dollar, right? It used to be backed by the gold standard, but then it was detached, and so now you can print, unlimited. But then the other concept is different to crypto, right? That appreciates and fluctuates with value, or we'll say fluctuate, not appreciate, based on supply demand. Governments have no real incentive for their currency to completely offset other currencies, right? So I don't know. It's an interesting kind of thought process you guys kind of laid out during your talks. I'm gonna have to think about that one a little bit more.
Cool, man. Priestley, what's up?
So, it's been a good conversation today. However, as an investor, the quickest way to lose me is when you guys go multi-chain, because there's no loyalty to Kronos. It's never going to build if you guys keep going someplace else. I understand as a business, you want more customers, but that's not what you do. What you do is say, or what, not you personally, but what the projects do is they're like, we're going to Polygon so we can make, so they say, we're going to Polygon so we can get more customers. We want you to come too. And so they take all their Kronos customers to Polygon, and then we lose people because everybody's over there on Polygon and they're saying how wonderful it is and how much money they're making over there. So what's the point in staying with Kronos? Why just not go to Polygon? And after a couple of those, investors get like too thin. Like there's too much for us to do. There's too much we got to check this, we got to check that. We don't want to do all that. We got lives. And it would be so much easier if there was if you want the chain to grow, we need to be loyal and build a solid foundation here first before we start sending our investors to other places.
I for what it's worth,
When
I
would that
don't
be?
disagree with that.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, there's ways to go cross chain and not, and everyone has got their own reason to do that. I'm not criticizing any particular project that's done cross chain stuff, but there's plenty of ways to break the borders down that don't include just, hey, let's all move over here. And I think you'll see some of that as time goes on. I think my point earlier is, to me, it's not even growth cross chain isn't this massive opportunity that exists like for Kronos. There's people on ETH that like will never be in Kronos because they don't believe it, they don't like crypto.com or whatever. There's way more people that haven't even owned a single bit of cryptocurrency to go after and focus on, rather than me trying to convince somebody who hates crypto.com because it's like a centralized entity to come here. Like there's just the effort should be spent where the opportunity is. And if you look at the amount of people that aren't in crypto versus the ones that are ETH maxis or Poly maxis or Solana maxis or whatever, it's not even a question. Like there is no question anymore. Sure, the on ramping is harder, but you can argue maybe it's not, because how do you convince? Is it easier to convince somebody to get into crypto because of the overall opportunity of crypto, or is it easier to convince somebody who has dug in deep because they're a particular chain maxi and they're already kind of have their bias as to where they want their money to be? So to me personally, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think the focus should be on cross chaining in that regard. That's why I think it matters. The retail investors, the key to growth, not cross chain.
Yeah, Priestley, when do you think is a good time?
Not when we're so early. I mean, we still have, from my opinion, like I told Murph the other day, right now, Thunder is the only project I trust. And that's not because, well, yeah, I like you, Alpha, but and I like the family and the communication and the transparency. I like all of that. But some of it has to do with the fact that the projects that I'm looking at, like somebody said something about going to buy NFTs on discount. I actually scrolled through Avisa's Bay the other day and I was like, there's not one project on there that has an NFT that I would, even at a discounted rate, buy at this point. However, Troopers is changing my mind about that. I'm kind of navigating that way. I've been listening to him and the last the last week or so. I feel like I missed out on something, but I came in after their mint, so I'm okay with that. But I'm wanting to learn more about them now. And that's just from listening to him talk. So, and you always say we invest in people. But we get up, like, a newcomer comes into the room and they're fresh on Kronos. They coming here to learn something, and we're telling them, we're not saying it. We're saying stay here, but go here too. Well, I haven't even learned this yet. Let me learn this first, and then I can go someplace else.
I hear you, and I want to bust through these hands for sure. But you got to remember, our first NFT was on Ethereum. First Thunder token dropped on Ethereum. And we did that specifically so that the users here would get comfortable with it and also acknowledge that Ethereum is the basis of our chain. So
yeah, I have no
for them
issue
to,
with Thunder and Island Thunder and everything that we do. My issue is with the rest of Kronos as a whole. The projects, I mean, how many projects have just gone bye-bye? And so you get to a point where it's like, what do I invest in? Where am I going to make my money? How can I build my future when everybody's just coming and going and there's just no, it's like when I moved from Illinois to Texas. In Illinois, in the program in Illinois, everybody was solid. And, you know, then I moved to Texas, and in the program, it was a revolving door. But right now, Kronos feels like a revolving door, just from my perspective as an investor.
I hear you. I know exactly what you're saying. Troops.
Yo, I'll be quick. It's well, I appreciate the kind words. Personally, I think usually people are swayed away from me by hearing me talk, but it's nice to hear that that's been the opposite with you, which is great. But no, I'm only kidding. But I agree with what you're saying there, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing. I want to see some mechanisms, and we're thinking hard about this when we're looking at growth and cross chain. I want the baseline for a Kronos project to be how are we bringing the people from the other chain to our project, not the other way around. Not we're going to go there and get them and then hope somehow that that's going to bring them to Kronos, which doesn't typically happen. I want to be like, we're here on Kronos. How can we bring you here by having some sort of cross-chain incentive or something like that? So that's kind of where our heads are at. That's kind of what we're thinking. We're always loyal to this chain. This is where we want to be for the reasons why we came here from the very beginning. They're still written in the bio on our Twitter profile. I was in ETH, been there, done it, and this was a different space for a different challenge. But I like the idea of looking at other chains, new chains. I'm into innovation, so I'd like to see new chains and figuring out how we can kind of bring them here and then raise awareness that way. That's all. But I think what you said was spot on.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I'm saying. If more projects thought like that, let's bring them here instead of let's go there and try to convince them whatever we're doing when we do that. But yeah,
And let's try and help the tech that's bringing all the chains together, because that's what I keep saying. All this next year is going to be about IBC. Ricky, what's up?
I definitely understand the sentiment behind wanting to have the strongest chain. But I fully believe cross-chain and multi-chain are going to be a big part of crypto moving forward. And what we need to focus on is onboarding people. There's each chain, right, is going to have its own special use case: decentralized versus centralized, proof of stake versus proof of work. Have their to get the best use out of crypto, I think we need multiple. And then on top of that, I think we need multiple in each area, so that way we have competition. So although I do want CDC or Crypto.com or Kronos to be the strong chains, because I really believe in them, I think it's important that they offer the incentives for the projects to be there, and they offer the support for the projects to really thrive, so that way they truly are better than the other chains. And just sticking with it because we want to stick with it, in my opinion, doesn't make them the stronger chain. It gives them an easy out.
Well, that's an interesting point. I know that crypto.com is paying attention, especially now. So whatever people's ideas are as to how we onboard more, because it's always been a win-win. You bring other people in, everybody wins. They win, you win. Not in the buy coins and hold them and hope they go up scheme, but in the big picture. So how do we onboard? How do we onboard effectively? Crypto.com is throwing millions of dollars at the wall advertising, seeing what sticks. We haven't even seen how this World Cup thing plays out. I'm of the camp that says this is perfect timing. I might be all by myself. Nobody else is really jumping up and down with me. But I have been feeling like this couldn't have really been timed better, because the news cycle is fast. You know, the news that people are thinking about and seeing and is in the front of their mind, that's like 3 days, you know? But staying relevant, that's like 2 weeks. So World Cup is only every 4 years. And we're about to blow up.
Agreed.
In a good way.
Agreed. And when all of those people from the World Cup come to our spaces or look at our projects, we don't want them to be confused. We want them to stay here. We don't want them to go anyplace else until they learn here first.
Yep,
does that make
100%.
sense?
I don't know why Cole's laughing. We need to have a good outward presence, like Priestley's saying. Can't have people showing up and we look all disheveled and the kitchen is a mess, and you know,
Yeah,
you got a sink full of dishes. Sorry, I cut you off there, Ricky.
That's what I think crypto.com does so well is have the availability for all the other cryptos, which I think makes it a premier learning ground, because you can access them all from the same exchange.
And look what happens when you give them those options. They buy Shiba. What's up, Cole?
Just to reiterate why I was throwing up laughing emojis, is crypto.com first and foremost is an exchange. So they make their money out of buying and selling tokens, no matter whose tokens they are, AVAX, BNB, it doesn't matter. So I disagree with everyone should focus on Kronos and crypto.com. I don't believe in that. I think everyone should focus on crypto. And crypto.com, the name speaks for itself. It's going to be at the World Cup. People are going to buy it. I don't really care what coins they buy through crypto.com as long as they buy the app and then go, oh, I think I'll buy some Kronos while I'm at it. And then that will then escalate to a higher ground.
But look at you just shilling for daddy, isn't it? You just want crypto.com to make money. What's this?
Yeah, I think there is one slight difference. It's a real subtle difference, Colin. That I think we're talking here more just a little bit more about the Kronos chain as maybe as an NFT project and kind of builder type thing rather than CDC as an exchange. I get what you're saying, and either way, probably still your point is still valid, because if CDC wins, maybe they then keep reinvesting that money into Kronos chain, and then it gets bigger too. But I think the point was more just around building and from an NFT perspective.
Cole
maybe
is up here, all fuddy-duddy, preaching trickle-down economics in crypto.
It's
interesting.
I didn't get to retire because I was an idiot.
Give it to Daddy. He'll give it
someone
back.
clip Cole, shilling CDC. But seriously, I think, but what he's saying is right. This is the point I'm making earlier. Like, you're going to bring a person into crypto. They're going to choose one of a million different ways to go with that. that the thing that matters is getting them into the ecosystem of crypto in general, and then the chips will fall into the various chains and projects and things accordingly if they have something there that people would want. Like that, ultimately, like the growth matters from the retail side. It's not about there's a little piece of yes, let's bring more people. Like let's pop over to AVEX and kidnap 100 users and make them buy Crow. Like sure, there's some of that in there, right? But like that's like a little speck to the scale of what's out there. What matters is the people that are going to see those commercials and they're going to go to the app, hopefully, and buy crypto, and then 10% of them, 20% of them, 30% of them will buy Crow, and then 5% of them will be like, I could see myself getting into DeFi, and then they work their way into here. That's the scale matters more than the targeted let's rip people over into the chain. In my mind, that's at least my philosophy.
And
No, I
we
think
can
it's fair.
really work on those numbers, that's what I've always been saying, is that small tweaks to those ratios are going to be huge for DeFi. If we went from 1% of crypto.com users being in DeFi to 5%, that's huge. That's a 5x.
And I think absolutely, and I think what Carl and Carlton are right. I guess just in the view that I take on it is that I'm going to let crypto.com try and take care of that scale piece, hence their advertising and hence some of the stuff they're doing. And like as just a builder on Kronos, that I can see my part is to try and bring other people from other chains on that smaller scale. I guess but I think everyone's saying the right thing, right?
Products,
I think everyone's saying the same thing.
Products that people want.
Yeah. The scale is important. Like I think we're all saying the same thing essentially, but a couple of different avenues to bring people in, right?
Also, Fred guy keeps crying. I don't know why.
I know. I'm thinking.
Cry,
I want to know what's going on.
He's crying because we got to wrap it up, dude. He knows.
Because Cole is laughing and Fred guy is crying. I want to know why.
We're doing
you're
something
crying,
right.
Fred guy.
You guys
What's
are
going
doing
on?
something right. Keep it up. Keep that same energy. Drink that water. Brush those teeth. Own your keys. Own your crypto. This is never going to change, ladies and gentlemen. This is DeFi. Please write your seed phrase down on a piece of paper and don't tell it to anybody. That would be the worst thing you can do. Zeus, what the fuck?
Oh, last thing, 7 p.m. 8-person space, 7 p.m. Don't forget.
Let's taco about it Tuesdays. Every Tuesday. Shout out the consistent crofam that's been holding it down. Not pop in, pop out. We're here for the gusto, baby. We're here to keep it raw. You know what I'm saying? That's Wu-Tang. Where was I?
You were telling everybody to have a wonderful, beautiful day.
Mwah.
And stay in positive spaces. As soon as you hear something negative, or feel something negative, just go about your business. Find something else.
Go out there and preach the gospel.
And something about brushing teeth.
Tell them the good word of DeFi. And don't forget to trust that forehead. Crofam for life.
And do it nicely.
Lots of love. Yes. Don't forget. And write that seed phrase down. I said that, right? Paper. All right. Wait. Fred guy's coming up. He's going to tell you why he's crying. And then we're going to go. What's up?
Hey, Kronos Chimp Club, Decentraland. Did you say words about that?
No. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. Talk about that.
And who was in here talking shit about Kronos Chimp
I was
Club?
crying because Priestley said she didn't like any of my pretty Kronos pictures.
Yeah. We talked a whole lot of shit. What is happening with the chimps today and Decentraland?
Yeah, I don't know. I figured you knew more about it than I did.
Oh, Jesus. I'm going to find out, okay? And I'm going to be back here at 4:20. That's a great reminder. Roll your own, God damn it, and I'll see you then. Lots of love. Shut up. Bye.